Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Gentlemans.
Gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome once again to another episode of your favorite podcast hosted by two guys named Kenny and Jeff. A better podcast with Kenny and Jeff.
I love our specific demographic.
Hey. We are hitting top marks in that.
Yeah, we are the best podcast hosted by a guy named Kenny and Jeff. Well, two guys, not just a guy named Kenny.
Nope, we are of one. We are of one mind.
Oh, that's scary. I don't want that at all.
I don't know. Sometimes it feels like we are.
I know enough about the way you think, and it makes me feel bad about the way I think.
But then I feel really good because it's not as bad as I think. But then I feel really bad because it is as bad as I think.
Yeah, it's exactly how you think. That's the worst part.
Oh, God.
It's cyclical. We're in hell. This is what hell is.
I thought hell was other people.
Yeah, you're the other person.
No, you're the other person. Oh, God. Which one of us is the other?
Oh, we're fucked. Cancel the podcast.
Yeah. Well, wrap it up, people. Cancel.
Well, that was it. Sorry, Steph.
It was a good show. You've been listening to a better podcast. Oh, man.
The internet just breathed a sigh of relief. Like, oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God. Is that what that wind was?
Yeah, that was it. Just like flew off your monitor or something. I don't know.
Just this deep wind against my window.
Yeah, it was weird. All the fans on my computer just kicked up for some reason. I don't know what happened.
Oh, God, we're dumb.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, man. So how you doing, guy? How you doing?
I'm good. Just hanging out. Doing
Hanging out?
things.
Which you're wanging out?
Well, no, it's not currently out. It's cold in here. I don't want to get all that.
Don't want to get frostbite on your peep?
Yeah, no. Cut that shit off or something. I don't know. I don't want that.
Oh, no one wants frostbite on their peep.
Oh, yeah. It's bad. No one wants frostbite, but on their peep.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick, my peep would be the last place I'd pick.
When the fellows of Top Gear, when it was Top Gear, went to the North Pole, in preparation of, they got like this lowdown from somebody, and like he decided they weren't scared enough. Because they were idiots, and they are. They didn't realize the kind of dangerous place they were going. So he showed him a picture of what was left of a man's frostbitten penis.
Oh, wow!
Because he went out for a quick wee, as you do,
like you do,
and because you're so cold and you're so tired, and like you're so stretched out, like you forget things. So he forgot to zip up. And that was just having his wanger hanging out of his trousers, as they say, for like a couple minutes or something like that, and it was just like wrecked.
But how else is he gonna pee if he doesn't hang it out?
Well, you know what I mean. Like he left it out after doing the deed.
Oh yeah, got that drip freezing.
Yeah, and they were like it was very sobering for them, which is good because they all survived. So. Spoilers to everybody.
I did like that episode because, spoiler alert, Clark and May win because they're in a car, and Hammond is on a dog sled.
Yes, that is the first. They are still, I believe, the first and only people who have ever driven to the North Pole. Yes,
and on that episode, they, as I said, Clark and May win, and they're calling Hammond to let him know they won, and then Clark gives the phone to May, and he says, "Hammond, bad luck." And I just thought that was such a British way to tell someone they lost.
Yeah, and he was just like crying because he actually did it the hard way, and it was just bad.
Like actually, I think he gained an appreciation for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then May calls him Hammond.
Bad luck. And then just hands him back the phone. Clarkson's cracking up.
I also did like when Clarkson and May are in the tent at one point, and they've been out there for a while, so they're pretty miserable. And Clarkson's complaining about something. All of a sudden, May pulls a bottle of booze out of his pocket. Yeah. And Clark just goes, "No!"
Just like May brought all these. He brought like foie gras and like all this nice stuff with them. Like they're not really. And I love that line where like because they're driving on all this ice. It's like the North Pole. So he goes. So Clarkson goes, "Before we get any angry letters about drink driving, we're not driving, we're sailing." So there.
I'll have to put my letter away.
His logic is perfect.
It's the impeachable intellect
Yes,
that is
exactly.
Jeremy
Oh
Clarkson.
god, I have to watch this week's Grand Tour. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I can't ask you about it.
I know, right?
I'll ask you about it next time.
That's right. Fucking deal.
I have to. I have an option. God.
Kenny.
But yes, Jeff. So OA or OTA.
Yes.
No, OTA is on the air. OA. You were telling me about this alternate reality thing.
Yes, I proposed to you a new segment.
For the show?
Well, yeah, sure.
Or okay.
Ready?
Wait, hold on. I gotta get my. Okay, I'm ready.
Bart thoughts with Jeff. or thoughts on Bart. That sounds too much like I'm thinking about Bart, though. I don't.
Yeah, that sounds like you have an opinion on Bart.
Bart thoughts. Anyway, so I was sitting on Bart, and I was thinking about a video I just saw. You've heard about the game where they're making, which is like a cooperative horror game, where a couple of the players play campers at Camp Crystal Lake, and one of the players plays Jason.
Yeah, the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
Yeah, so it looks pretty dope.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
But I was thinking about that, and I thought to myself, like, could you imagine a reality that actually exists where like this all like that kind of like horror movie thing actually happens like frequently? Like if the Freddy, Jason movies and all them were like actually existed in the same reality, and people had to live in that, like how would the world change? Like
the world would be a horrifying place.
Yeah, well, that's for starts, but also like my immediate thought was that like use all these like they get killed immediately after like a teenager has sex, or could it just be for anybody who has sex? So, like, how would that change? Like, oh baby, like the R&B songs of today would be like, take you to my danger room, lock you in my danger room. With me.
What? I would say that. Well, if you don't include the "with me," then it just sounds like something
that just sounds weird. But
like,
yeah. But like, because they would have to like construct these like murderer-proof cells to have sex in.
Well, I'm curious though, because all of these teenagers have sex at night, which is when these creatures typically tend to strike.
Yeah.
So what if you have like sex in like the middle of the afternoon, like it's still daylight?
Yeah, there has to be like.
Is that going to be a problem?
There has to be like a teen sex curfew that the government implements.
No sex after 7 p.m.
Come on, guys!
Do your boning in the afternoon like normal people.
You summon yet another horrible thing upon our world.
Oh god, what if that was the key? Every time a teenager has sex, a new horrible being pops into existence.
Yeah, they're called babies.
Well, I mean, something that you get in trouble, or not get in trouble for killing.
Oh.
Society tends to frown on you killing children.
Whatever.
So I've heard. Not. Anyway,
we can get away with so much in Trump's America, we still can't kill a baby. Jesus.
Oh man, I can't wait for the purge to be real.
Oh god. But yeah, I just thought of that. It was just like kind of like what would that world be like? Like, well,
I think outside of the obviously horrifying implications of a society where these kind of creatures are real. I feel like there would be some benefit. I feel like we as a society would start caring about science again, because we'd have to come up with some kind of science to stop them.
I suppose, yeah.
Because typical typical munitions, conventional weapons aren't going to work, because they're essentially these invincible killing machines.
Yeah, that always come back as soon as they everyone knows.
Exactly.
Too, it's like he's down, get him again, hit him again. He's only going to get up again. Like everyone just knows, because that's why I think society would have to adapt. Like this would be this would be like, oh, another hurricane. Instead, it would be like, oh, another slasher. like it's like, oh, damn, some idiot 16-year-old had sex with his girlfriend again.
You have Hurricane Jason. Actually, it's just Jason.
Yeah, just Jason now. It's like we have yet another Jason sighting at yet another camp. They would have to close down all the summer camps.
That's true.
Or at least they have to be like underground bunker summer camps.
Although I feel like after a while, with this going on long enough, the horror factor would eventually disappear, and it would become like at least when the experience I've had playing certain games, like sometimes playing some of the Silent Hill games, like gets to the point where you're just walking around so many times and you see the same monster over and over again. You're like, okay, yeah, I know you're there. Whatever.
It gets pretty blasé.
Yeah, we get to the point you're outside doing something, and like this other new horror thing comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh god, who fuck
It's like,
now?
oh god
Okay,
damn it! Like really?
and then you pull your future gun out and shoot him.
Yeah, you
Like
go, blah, blah,
that's
blah.
what eventually. So actually, that might not be a bad thing because it may eventually lead us to a society where we're very scientifically advanced and we're not afraid anymore.
Or constantly
So
afraid.
no, it becomes so part of society that you eventually get used to it, so you're not really afraid anymore.
Although Freddy Krueger would still be a huge problem.
Yeah, so you'd have to. I don't know how you even fight that because you can't sleep.
Yeah.
In your night.
Yeah, so like anybody, like, does anybody fuck to get Freddy Krueger to show up though, or does he just like show up?
No, I think he just shows up.
I think
So
that there's definitely screwing in those movies though, because it can't be a horror movie without screwing.
Yeah. Although I think the screwing is incidental to the horror. I don't think that that Freddy is a byproduct
Yes.
of that, as opposed to someone like Mike Myers and Jason.
Because that was the whole thing behind Jason, in that they were like he was killed because of the negligence of camp counselors that were screwing around with each other, and so like every time those camp counselors tried to do their dirty, he would like get pissed off. Is that what really happened?
Essentially, basically, if you haven't seen the first one, Stephanie, the very first one. Fun fact: Jason is not the original killer in those.
No.
films. It's his mom.
Spoilers.
Spoiler: it's his mommy. Essentially, what happens though is he does end up drowning in the lake.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I want to say that you're right that it is because of the negligence of the counselors.
I think so. Because he was like because he's a weird kid.
Yeah, he was also like he was deformed. I think.
Yeah.
Too, which is part of the reason that people were so mean to him.
Yeah.
And they end up like setting him on fire and like throwing him in the lake or something because he's burned. He is burned. I'll have to watch that again, but I think you're on the right track.
Children were different then.
The 80s were a different time.
That kid
you
was
could
it
insult
the 80s?
them and no one
earlier
cared.
than that.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like mid 80s. Maybe I know it's in the 80s. It might be early 80s, but yeah, it is the 80s. Because yeah, those kind of films didn't started coming out until the 80s. Yeah, I want to say that you're on the right track with how Jason or why Jason picked his victims the way he did.
Yes, I'm thinking. Props.
But overall, this would be a horrifying society.
Yes.
At least to some degree.
So yes, so that would be Bart thoughts. Our first and possibly only segment of Bart thoughts.
No, I like it. I think if you do have any more interesting thoughts on Bart, you should write them down and we should discuss them.
Write down and discuss. Or write down in discuss. Like, oh god, Bart thought.
Oh god, I can't believe I thought of that. Oh, what's wrong with me?
Jesus Christ, somehow.
Oh no.
I am a monster. Why am I so aroused by this?
I have the weirdest boner.
I have the best weird boner right now.
Or the weird best boner, right?
Nasty.
Speaking of weird boners.
Yes.
So I guess technically we just discovered today.
Yes.
That the PlayStation Expo 2016 is going on.
Because we're on top of things.
We are on the fucking ball.
It's like, hey, all this stuff's happening.
Let me tell you right now, listening audience, if you came to find a show that's informative, you should look elsewhere.
You should probably look elsewhere.
If you're looking for a show that's finding out things just as you are, you're in the right place.
I feel like we did a good job with Batman, our recent episode. It's called Batman.
I do too. I had a lot of fun.
However, that movie we've had quite a lot of time to prepare for. So, like any topic,
if we didn't do well with that one, then we should probably just quit the show.
Any topic that we have at least 15 years to like brush up on, then we'll be all set.
So what you're saying is that we should wait for 15 years and then travel back in time and talk.
Yeah, there we go. That'll work.
Wait, time travel isn't a thing though.
Ah, fuck.
Damn it, Trump. Thanks, Trump.
Thanks, Trump. Welcome to Trump's America, everybody.
I can't wait to see how close it's going to be to the Purge.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
What, the Purge or Trump? Well, either.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's the for those of you not in the know, Stephanie. It is basically the big PlayStation Expo for all the new games coming out for the system, and all the the big top developers like Naughty Dog are there. So the cool thing about this is you get to see a lot of new stuff coming out, and for stuff that's already been announced, you typically get more information on it. So like trailers, things like that. And I've been following the Twitter account, and some of the games that they have put out now. I'm assuming it's the whole weekend. I don't think it's just a day. But from what the Twitter account has put out, Some of the games are they are doing a what they're calling a remake plus of the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, the first 3 games,
Yes.
which I'm actually pretty excited about because I love the first 2 games. I never, for whatever reason, I never played any of the ones beyond that, but the first 2 were so.
Well, because it's just solid old school platforming on a new
Oh, yeah.
system. That's on like a 3D platformer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they were like looking back on it, like they were probably the epitome of platforming, and they were like super early PlayStation also.
Yeah, they were great. They made the PlayStation look good, and those games still look good. They still hold up, I think, because like anytime you do like a cartoony style, it holds
Mhm.
up a lot better. If you go like
Oh yeah.
if you go really realistic, then you're just like if you play the original Resident Evil, you're like, oh god.
Oh yeah. But yeah, but I mean, like you play a game like Borderlands, that or even not even let's go back further. Like you played the first Dragon Ball Z game on PlayStation 2,
It still looks good. Cell shading
Yeah,
cheats though. Like it's like cell shading always looks good.
which I always find so weird. How like how a art style like that holds up so well.
I think
But yeah, no,
13 doesn't look that good anymore though. Remember that
Which
game?
one? Oh, 13.
Yeah.
That was. I never played the game. I wanted to.
It wasn't that great, but they made a TV show about it actually.
I believe the main character was voiced by David Duchovny.
Yes, David Duchovny did voice the main character in 13, but I don't think he played the main guy in the show 13.
I don't know. I never saw anything about the TV show, so I can't say.
Cannot say.
But no, I am super excited about that because, like I said, I loved those games. So seeing them, I've seen if you go to the I'm gonna pimp the PlayStation Twitter page because it needs pimping.
Well, of course, they need all the help they can get, right?
Right, I know. They're putting up some images of what the updated Crash characters look like, and they look awesome.
Nice.
So I'm very excited about that. And they're also doing looks like they're doing a new Yakuza game too, which I think is pretty cool.
I have played Yakuza 4, some of it,
Mhm.
and it's fun. Like it's kind of weird that like part of the game is you can hang out in like a Japanese hostess bar.
Well, it's authentic Japan, baby.
It is
I
authentic
guess.
Japan, kind of, yeah.
So yeah, so it looks like they're doing a sequel or a continuation of the series with Yakuza 6, and they're doing a remake of the first game. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do something similar they're doing with Crash in terms of updating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to add anything, because with the Crash update, they're not just updating graphics and things; they're also adding new things to levels. I think they're updating locations. They're adding like checkpoints and things in there like that. So I'm really curious to see what the final product for that's going to be.
Those little things.
Mm-hmm. They're also a game coming out called Neo, excuse me. And for those of you not in the know, Jeff and Stephanie,
Okay.
it's essentially it's a very similar to the Dark Souls series. I don't know if you've ever played that.
I played Demon Souls, and I am not good at it.
That's if for those of you who are not aware, that's where the "get good" meme comes from.
Yeah.
People would say like, "How do I beat this boss in Dark Souls?"
Get
People
good.
say, get good. So yeah, that's where that comes from. But it's similar. It's set in feudal Japan, I believe. But it's very similar in terms of how you fight enemies, how the weapons work, how the combat system is overall in terms of switching between weapons and the powers you can use. Not the powers, but fighting stances you can use and your overall character development.
Oh wow.
But graphically, it looks awesome, and I will say it does look more fluid than Dark Souls in terms of how you swap between weapons and how your inventory screens and overall movement works. And the cool thing is depending on how you like to play, like if you're a heavy weapons guy or a light weapons guy, each weapon has different stances.
Okay.
And they affect how you swing the weapon. So you can still use a heavy weapon, but if you're using the right, yeah, I like being heavy weapons.
Heavy weapon guy.
But if you're using like a heavy hammer and you use the right stance, you can still swing it pretty quickly. So the downside to that is it kind of removes the uniqueness, quote unquote, of each weapon, but at the same time, it allows you to. Because I'm the kind of guy who likes to use heavy weapons in games, like hammers and big swords and stuff.
Carrying a big man. He likes carrying big things.
Big man with a big hammer.
I like playing the faster guys in the games. The faster.
I
like the sneaky guys. I'm a sneaky guy. Yeah, get in there.
Every time I play a game that has that, I always make two characters: a heavy guy and a light guy.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And as games go on, I'm becoming less and less make the magical character oriented. I'm like, that seems like too much fucking work, man.
I think it's like I always tried to make the magical guy, but then I always just revert to using weapons.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck this. Bam! I won.
So now I
like
try to
any Elder
compromise.
Scrolls game where I'm just like, I'm gonna start off being all like hack and slash, and I go fuck it, sneaky bow and arrow from like 50 yards out. It's very satisfying to me.
I've pretty much compromised at this point. I just use buffs and buff magic and all that instead of like throwing fireballs. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just make myself stronger or whatever. But it's cool because you can swap between different stances, so it'll affect how you swing the weapon, which I like because it lets the player really use the weapon type they want, and they're not going to be too badly affected by it. So I'm excited about that game. I'll probably check that out because I'm a huge Dark Souls fan. When I finally get my PS4, I'm going to buy Dark Souls 3.
Yes.
And I will have to get good because I've seen gameplay of that game and the boss fights and things, and oh my god, it looks like the hardest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh god, they're like I mean, at this point, Dark Souls 1 and 2 aren't very hard for me anymore because I play them so much. But when I first started those games, they were pretty nightmarish, and Dark Souls 3 looks harder than those two were. So that'll be fun. I'll probably rage a lot, and I'll probably wait till my roommates are gone to play it, so they don't be like, "Hey, Kenny, are you okay?
Kenny,
I'm fine. I'm fine." I was playing Dark Souls the other day, and I got mad, and I punched my desk, and I hurt my wrists. So. Like, fine, whatever. I felt like Fry in that one episode of Futurama when he thinks that his brother stole his identity. And he's like, and then he punches the statue, and he says, "He stole my name, punch out, and he broke my hand." Like I felt like that for a minute.
He broke my hand.
But another thing I'm super excited about, and I'm sure you heard this, The Last Guardian is finally coming out.
Yes, finally
coming out on December 6th.
This is truly a year of games that are finally coming out.
Right.
We're gonna segue into that later, but yeah, tell me more about The Last Guardian.
I actually don't know a whole lot about it because I've seen
I've
seen trailers and things, but I haven't really looked into too much in terms of what the gameplay is. But basically, what I can see is you're the last guardian of this bird dog thing called Trico. I think is how you pronounce it. It's Trico, and your basic job is to just basically take care of this creature. I'm assuming there's going to be more to it.
No, what I heard was that because like Eco or Ico, and the
I pronounce it Ico, but I don't know if that's right.
And Shadows of the Colossus they are sort of sequels to each other. Like Eco comes first, and then Shadows of the Colossus. And like the rumor is that Last Guardian is they're all sort of tangentially related.
Yeah,
like
they all take place in the same universe as far as
yeah. So it's like what I heard is that the Last Guardian is the dog bird thing, and he's the last Colossus, like a baby Colossus.
Oh, that would actually make sense.
Because spoilers, at the end of Shadow of Colossus, you end up killing all the Colossi, and that's when you find out that you've been doing the wrong thing the whole time.
Yes,
and it's actually really bad.
They were keeping this monumental evil at bay.
Yeah,
basically.
And you've been helping
so you fucked up.
Evil.
You fucked up.
It's actually a really cool story. Although no, wait, I think the way it goes is that it was Shadow of the Colossus is the second. Never mind, I can't recall. Anyway, but yeah,
we'll come back.
But yeah, Last Guardian. That's the idea. That's what I've
makes a lot of sense.
But that's what people have been saying. But like once again, we have no clue because like even like there's been no story because these games don't really have like a lot of story or narrative. There's like almost no dialogue. Yeah. It's just sort of like they're fantastical and crazy and beautiful and.
I mean, like all the dialogue you got in Shadow of the Colossus was basically Dormir, I think, was the entity you were fighting.
Yeah, there was subtitles.
But it was basically like, okay, your next Colossus, you have to go kill it now. Like that was your dialogue.
Yeah, like there's other people later in that game, but like mostly it's just you, and the other people in that game just kind of show up and they leave. You know, like it's very strange.
Yeah.
But it's very good. Like, I don't know. Like, if you've never played Shadow of the Colossus, I really recommend it. Eco apparently is also very good. It's more of a puzzle game.
Yes. No, it's really cool because it's very atypical in terms of how you deal with combat and things.
Yeah.
Because your main goal is to save this princess character. but you have to directly lead her around, so it makes it a lot more almost puzzle-based combat because you can't. First one, you can't really kill anything in that game. You're mostly just keeping like pushing stuff back. So you're trying to if I remember correctly, and I'm probably wrong. Stephanie can correct me because she's played this. You have to let go of the princess. You have to let go of her hand to fight stuff, but if you do, like they can like kidnap.
Yeah,
the
you
princess.
like go and get her back.
Yeah, so you basically you're trying to struggle between fighting these things off, keeping her around, and leading her out of this area. And so, I really liked the way that it interpreted combat because it was very much outside the mainstream.
I think what it was is that in the timeline of the games, it's supposed to be Shadows of the Colossus goes first because in that game you're trying to save your love or your girlfriend or what have you.
Yeah.
She's sick. And at the end of the game,
I think she's actually dead, and you're trying to bring her back to life. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, like yeah. So at the end of the game, you both. The rumor is like the way it could be interpreted, is that you're both then turned very young. That's part of the cure, and then Eco happens. But and Last Guardian is much later on, probably after those two, because it doesn't appear to have anything to do with those two anymore. Maybe it's their kid.
That could be.
And he's trying to make up for his dad's fuck up.
Wouldn't be surprised if that was true to some degree.
Yeah.
No, but I'm very excited for the game, especially because it was delayed forever. I think it was originally supposed to come out on the PS3. So it's at least PS3 came out in 2005.
That first tech demo they put out was awesome. Like, and that was it was crazy.
But yeah, so I mean that game's been in the making for 5, 6, 7, 8 years at this point.
Oh,
so I'm very excited to see the finally get a release date.
But in other news, Final Fantasy 15 is finally out.
Yes, the game that was originally supposed to be part of Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, it was called Final Fantasy Versus 13 at that time.
I believe so.
And then they cut it and now I like it better this way. It's its own game now. I don't think we needed to go back to 13's universe anymore because I didn't even like the first one, and then it got like so many goddamn sequels. And none of them are very good.
I liked them, so I'll be the minority. I guess.
Yeah, you can be the minority. Fine. Again.
Again. No.
Minority again.
Oh, you sound just like my mom.
Yeah, sounds right. She hates you too.
I know she does.
Oh God. But yeah, like I the thing is, I want to play this game, but it's gonna have to be like a Christmas gift from family or whatever because I just cannot. I've been burned so many times recently on these Final Fantasy games, spending more money for them than I should and like not enjoying them. So like I want to play this game. There's many cool aspects I want to do. I just want to drive around that world with my bros. That's what it looks like. It looks like
I'm really excited because they finally fucking brought back goddamn world map.
Yeah, the world map. And like people are saying it's the most Western-like of all the Final Fantasy games because it's more akin to Witcher 3 or Dragon Age than it is anything to do with like a Japanese JRPG, which is what I mean, they've always been.
I guess. Yeah,
like the way it's played. The story is still very much JRPG-ish.
Oh yeah.
Likely because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense and is very convoluted, but at its core, it's simple.
That's fine.
Like at its core, the plot of Final Fantasy 15 is you play Noctis, the prince of a kingdom.
Yeah, he's.
And you and your bros are going to go on a bro trip.
Road
trip. So you can go marry some other princess broad that you've been betrothed to from youth in another kingdom. And then a third kingdom, once you leave, a third kingdom shows up and attacks both those other two kingdoms, kills all your family. So you are now like the last of the royalty. So you still have to get where you're going, I guess. But now it's like you're a fugitive too.
If you've ever seen the movie Road Trip, it's very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like they brought a lot of
It's really a movie game, to be honest.
I mean, but it looks very pretty. The only thing I'm not nuts about is the revamped combat system.
I have heard really good things.
I heard it was really good. Like it's very fluid. But it also seems very simple. Like if you're playing on your PlayStation, it's like circle to attack, and then you hit X at the right time to block or parry or dodge. And like the magic system has totally like been downgraded.
I know. I mean, like the combat system has always been like not very complex anyway. It's always been like select attack and pick the enemy you want to attack. So,
but I miss the tactic way, the strategic way that you could do stuff.
I know, I agree, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of complexity, like, it's never really been that complex of a combat system.
But I just feel like it's just gonna feel every fight you run into is gonna feel like just a hack and slash,
Maybe it's hard to say until you actually play it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I want to play it, but like I said, I don't want to buy it myself.
I'm going to buy it whenever I finally get a PS4 and join the rest of society. So if I play it before you, I will give you a review, and I will review the combat system with you, and we can talk about it.
I just like I've seen so many videos of them just driving around the countryside basically, and you have to pull over at night, otherwise like these horribly overpowered demons show up and like
I want to fight the demons.
Fight the demons.
Demons.
Like
mad demons.
But like then you pull over, and that's like when you set up camp for the night. That's when all your experience gets totaled up, and you can get your skills and stuff like that. But also like one of your guys, I think his name is Prompto. He's taking pictures all the time, so you can see like his what pictures he's taken over the day, like of your fights and stuff like that. At night when you're on the campfire, and like his photography skill levels up. But I don't know much about that, but like there's skills. They all have skills that level up. Like Ignis does all the cooking, and you have to you cook a meal at night, and you learn more recipes that buff your guys for the next day.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I don't know why, but I find that really cool.
Well, I feel like it really gives.
Look at all the dishes I can make. I'm interested in collecting recipes, and I couldn't tell you why.
Well, I think it's cool because it really gives a unique aspect to each character.
Yeah.
Because they really are doing something the other characters can't. And I would assume the photography is probably going to have something to do with how you fight the enemies in terms of weaknesses and things.
Maybe it's like how it identifies. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like how this is the first. A lot of people have been pointing this out, that this is the first Final Fantasy game where like all the characters aren't like this disparate group of people that have been thrown together for whatever reasons. Yeah. Like you have an established friendship with these three other guys, and it is like a bromance movie. Like.
Which I'm all about the bromance.
It's great. I like how too you're in the royal family and all this stuff, but like something happens. I think your car breaks down, and at the very beginning, and Sid has to fix it because Sid's back, of course.
Sid's always back.
Sid's in every game, one way or another, lady or man. But it puts you into debt, so you have to go make some money.
Of course. Oh,
so that opens up all the side missions.
I can't play. It's too real now. It's too real. Can't.
But like, if
I play games to escape reality.
But listen, if I made money the way I made money in video games like this one, I would much rather live in that universe. To be frank.
If I made money by just beating up random people.
Yeah. Like, you mean all I have to do is just go out there and use my fantastic powers and fighting skills to kill all those horrible creatures? Oh no. I don't know. That sounds way better than what I'm doing now. Unfortunately, I doubt it comes with such a good health plan.
Yeah, you only use so many Phoenix Downs.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, I guess if you live in a world where a potion can just magically heal your wounds,
restore your MP.
Yeah, that reminds me, the magic system. It's totally different in that like it's been really stripped down. There's just the basic spells, like fire, lightning, water, earth. Those like the really kind of like nitty gritty ones, and ice, and like the way you do it now is like while you're camping or while you're running on the world, you pick up ingredients that have magical properties, and then you put those like when you're camping out, you put those ingredients kind of like The Witcher when you make a potion, you make like a flask that is like Firaga, and you throw that thing, and that casts the Firaga spell and does damage. But it can also do it also can damage your buddies too. So you have to like
I've heard like the actual map you're on is important too, because like when you cast fire, like you can be affected, and like if you cast it in a field, it's gonna burn the field.
Yeah,
and
which is crazy.
I think that's awesome that you're actually have to take into account the environment now too.
But there's no more magic casting. You know what I mean? Like there's no.
I don't expect that to stick for future Final Fantasy games. I feel like they're going to go back to the regular magic system.
I would love it though if like for Final Fantasy 16, and mind you, it took them 15 years to make this game, so hopefully won't take this long. But like for Final Fantasy, let's be real. Actually, they're just going to make Final Fantasy 7 episodes for like the next 20 years.
Hey, I'm fine with them doing that if each episode is disc.
Yeah.
because that's how the original game came out, and I'm fine with that.
But well, not one at a time.
Well, no, but I mean, like, if you know, because they're going to release it, because they did confirm they're doing an episodic fashion. So if they do like the first episode is the whole first disc, I'm fine with that.
That'd be good, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more. I feel like they're going to be. Square Enix has been like milking money out of people for a while now. It's not their platform's a little different.
Well, I am curious because I know they're doing a lot of updating, and I think they're adding something. I don't
yeah,
know
they're going to be adding stuff to sort of make it worth it, to like sort of explain why there's so many episodes and stuff like that. Like, well, no, there's more content. It's like, okay, great, but if it's like,
I'm fine with it.
If they mean to like more content, they mean like more side quests. Like, dude, really? Great.
More side quests wouldn't necessarily be bad if they don't add too many new side quests.
Yeah. Well, if they just turn out to be a bunch of fetch quests, though, because that's what a lot of games turn out to be these days. Like, we have so much for you to do. It's like, yeah, but it's always go to Y, get X, bring back X.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'd be cool with them adding a couple more side quests for characters.
Yeah.
Like, you have Vincent's side quest, you have Yuffie's side quest.
I feel like that's what like Yuffie's side quest was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But like
fighting Goto was great.
It was great. Like, but like I feel like that's like they should pull from the Mass Effect series in that regard, because like that made the side quests really worth it.
Yeah.
Those side quests, those character driven ones, were a lot of fun. They were all like their own little flavor. And they were all a little different, and they expanded that character and made the character more interesting, and ultimately made them better too. Like that was as far as gameplay goes, and improve your team. So that was cool.
Yeah.
You know, like that was a good idea. If they did that in 7, I'd be totally okay with that. Like if they did that way.
Yeah, and I'm not as worried about this remake as I am with others, because, I mean, I'm not part of Square Enix. Shocker, Jeff. I don't work for the company.
Oh, fuck. If you did, I'd be pissed at you because you hadn't got me a copy yet, you motherfucker.
Dude, if I worked, then I'd get you a job. Copy.
Good. They need help writing. Because like, I've seen Advent Children, and that shit does not make sense.
Don't care. Still love it. Because as a company, I know they are aware of how vitally important a good release of this game is going to be.
Probably.
They are going to put all their blood, sweat, and tears into making this a good game. I will be, if it's bad, I will be very surprised. Yeah. Because they know how much fans want this, and I guarantee you they are to some degree terrified of butchering.
Well, that's the thing. They're probably, whatever they do, they're probably going to receive some blowback, because people are, like, the hype is so huge that people are going to be disappointed about stuff.
It's like when Duke Nukem Forever got released. It doesn't matter how good that game was or wasn't going to be. People were going to not like it because it took 20 years to come out. It was never going to reach the expectations of anyone.
And for real, kids, if you hear the Duke Nukem Forever game, like, honestly, it was a Duke Nukem game. Like, what did you expect? I don't understand.
Yeah, if that exact game came out when it was supposed to, everyone would be like, "Oh, this is great!
This is the best
Duke
game ever!
Nukem's back.
It's funny! I get to pee into a urinal! Oh,
I get to throw poop into people! This is great!"
Because that's exactly what Duke Nukem 3D was, you guys. That was the
Duke
point.
Nukem 3D. You could give money to strippers.
Yeah.
Like,
shake,
come on,
baby.
So no, like, I know that there's, and I think they're aware there's going to be some blowback because you're never going to hit the hype for this game.
Yeah.
But I really think they're going to do their damnedest to make the game as good as possible.
But anyway, Final Fantasy 16 happens. I wish they would go like do a total throwback, and like bring back maybe if like because that's the thing, they're going to change combat for 7. Maybe like maybe there's going to be like enough of a fan push to like kind of miss the old style stuff. And like give us a real throwback, bring back like real-time battle, like the real-time battle system, which is
the ATB system, baby.
Yeah, it's like real-time battle system, but it's turn-based, so it's kind of like whatever.
I always like that because I like the tactical idea of it, but also like you couldn't just sit there forever and make it like you had to really
you had
know what you're
going to do
on
your shit, and like the flow was really good, and it was I really love it, you know. Oh, another exciting thing about Final Fantasy 15 is that you can buy albums so you can buy the albums from soundtracks of the previous Final Fantasy.
Oh, I heard about that.
Drive around the world listening to stuff. Like, so I'm just gonna buy all the Final Fantasy 6 stuff I can find and just cruise around listening to the opera theme and crying.
I'm gonna be doing nothing but playing the Final Fantasy 7 boss music the whole time.
It's just like, That's awesome and adorable. Let's face it. Like that's so.
That is a really awesome touch. I'm really glad they did that.
So I have to get this game. I'm really hyped about it, but now I have to. I can't afford to buy it right now. I need to actually buy other people's stuff instead of me, and pay my bills, which is challenging.
Hey, it's fine.
And two, like I've been burned so many times. I don't want to spend mine own money now.
I think for me it is a case of cautious optimism.
Yes.
I am very optimistic because I've heard great things about it, but I'm still cautious because it is not a cheap game.
No, it's like if you want the like I just looked on the PlayStation Store, you can get the regular game for $60, which is the regular price of the game, but still high, I think. But that's kind of the way it's always been, really. But
well, I mean, in some cases I think it's too low sometimes because like the sidetrack a little bit.
Okay.
The reason we keep getting things like Call of Duty every year and all that is because it's expensive to make those games because we don't pay more than 60. They're going to go with the safe bet. So what's the safe bet? Making the same game every year that's going to get you hundreds of millions of dollars.
Absolutely. But like if you go on the PlayStation Store right now, though, they're not advertising the $60 one. They're advertising the $85 one.
It's a day one.
The
edition,
day one edition that includes the premium, that includes the season pass. For all the DLC. Now, I don't know what kind of DLC they're going to throw in there. It's a JRPG, so it's probably just going to be a lot of costumes and weapons.
Could be.
So is it worth the extra $25?
It's always such a crapshoot because it's really hard to tell until the first DLC comes out, but by the time the first DLC comes out, the price of the season pass usually jumps up.
I don't know. I feel like at least on Steam or like for most EA, like all the big companies are really kind of fucking this up. Like I think the season pass for Star Wars Battlefront is still like $30.
Yeah. Well, there's the DLC, the season pass, the DLC season pass for Fallout 4 was 30.
See, it used to be 20, and that was the deal.
It was,
like you'd pay $5 for each of them, or you could pay 20 for the season pass, and you would get you would save money that way.
But the thing was, it's like it was 30 up to like March 31st, and then it jumped to 50.
Fuck, really?
Because the thing was like. The reason it jumped up is because when it initially came out, there was only I think a certain amount of DLCs that came out. But by the time more of them were coming out, you're still technically saving money because the cost of the season pass was still less than the total cost of the DLCs.
Damn, it does burn your audience though, because like then you just wait for you wait a year and a half or whatever for the Game of the Year edition or whatever it is, and the deluxe edition that has all that shit in there for the regular price.
Yeah, although I think right now the season pass is on sale for like $33.
Damn.
But that thing it burned me because like I didn't have the money at that moment, but by the time I had the money, it jumped up to 50. I'm like, well, fuck this noise.
Well, I was like, you've heard me get pissed off about Justice League Gods Among Us, that fighting game, which was awesome, great fighting game. But I spent all the money on like getting the individual characters and stuff like that. And then, like a year later, like a version came out that was $20 and had everything in it, and I'm like, "Fuck you guys."
But Jeff, we know that they're gonna do that.
Yeah, I know. I don't care.
No, I know. I'm with you. I'd either rather them just release all at once or not. It's maddening. I'd rather they either release them all at once or not, or just release. The season pass in the game and not combine.
I don't mind DLC as long as they bring something new to the table. Like, I feel like the Borderlands DLCs are probably the best examples of that. Or the Fallout ones, too, where, like they add a lot of them, like the story DLCs, and they're stupid ones. So, like, I like the stupid ones if they're cheap or free. Or if I can get them bundled with the season pass, then I won't mind. Because, like, honestly, I don't need all these costumes. And I don't use them. I'm just going to use the vanilla one after a bit anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference though in Final Fantasy 15 is that your costume actually affects abilities, or at least it gives you bonuses.
Well, that's always the thing. You always get a new bonus or a new item, stuff like that.
But I mean, it affects like if you wear this outfit, like you do more damage with this attack, or you can do something else. So I think in this case, them releasing costumes DLC might be okay if A, depending on the price, and B, it depends on what if the things that you get in the DLC are actually useful to you. Like if you're just going to get costumes that are the same things you already have, or they give you the same bonuses, they just look different. That's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
But if they give you decent bonuses and it's not too expensive, it might be worth it to grab.
Yeah.
So
the the day one edition, which also kind of screws with people is that like it still says on the website pre-order now to receive this exclusive bonus, but the day one edition you can still buy. So anybody who pre-ordered, guess what? You didn't actually get anything. Oh, there's a free demo of Final Fantasy 15. I'm gonna.
There you go.
That right now.
Well, then you can play it now and tell us.
Yeah, it's gonna take a long time to download, so I'll wait till after we record, so because it just doesn't kill our bandwidth.
Sure.
But yeah, like it comes pre-order exclusive bonus, the Masamune DLC weapon. So
that might still be a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, I mean, like, but it's still there because I'm looking at day one edition, so you can still buy the day one edition.
Well, does it come with the day one edition, or is it only if you pre-ordered the day one?
No, it comes with the day one edition.
Oh.
And the season pass. So like, it doesn't matter.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you're not paying more for the day one edition than you would if you pre-ordered it, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Oh, do you want to hear what's in the season pass so far?
Yes, I would like to hear.
The Final Fantasy 15 season pass. So the season pass is $25. Contains 7 installments of additional content, including original episodes and an all-new gameplay mode. That's supposed to be the new game plus mode, I believe. That will become available over time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Following the game's release. So there's the holiday pack. That's the one that's coming out first. That's going to come with New Game Plus, I heard. A booster pack, whatever. Episode Gladiolus. So that's a new episode. Episode Ignis. Episode Prompto. So those are your 3 bros in the car.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I wonder if they're going to be like this, like companion sizes.
Yeah. Then there's a multiplayer expansion called Comrades. That might also be a new game mode. Is set to come out. And then the Gourmand set, which is no doubt more food. So.
Joke's on you, it's actually outfits.
Oh, shit! It's food-based outfits!
I want to dress up as a pancake.
I'm the custard killer!
Just squirt custard at the end.
So long story short, if I get this game as a gift for Christmas or my birthday, they're kind of like tied together, unfortunately. That's another story. It's my problem, not anybody else's. I should just let it go.
Well, if you keep talking about the show, Jeff, then it becomes our problem.
Shut up, Kenny. Anyway, if that game is given to me as a gift, I will buy the season pass. I'll compromise. Nice. I'll buy the season pass.
Well, if you get it before I do, which you probably will, because as I said, I don't have the PS4 yet. Let me know if it's worth buying. Because what's probably going to happen is I'm going to buy it anyway. Yeah. It's just going to dictate. No matter what you
tell me, I'm going to buy it.
It's really just going to dictate the speed at which I buy it. Either immediately or I'll wait till it goes down in price.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit I am a Final Fantasy diehard. It's my favorite series ever, and I don't care how bad the games get. I'm still a sucker.
I still want to play. I still want to buy and play and just all that.
Because god damn it, I love those fucking games. I don't really know what it is about the series I love so much.
The Last Guardian is releasing on the 6th. Holy shit.
It is. It's 3 days.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like I don't. I think it's the memories. I think it really is. Like my favorite game of all time is still Final Fantasy VI, and I know I'm in a minority as far as Final Fantasies go because 7 is hugely popular, and I agree it's great.
6 is still a phenomenal game.
6 is such a good game. And
I would say it's my second favorite.
It really holds up to me, like because that's the first one. That was the first game, Final Fantasy game I ever played. It was 3 in the U.S. Now they call it 6 finally. But like it's just like the story's great, the characters are great. For the Super Nintendo, that game pushed the boundaries of what a 16-bit system could do.
Oh yeah.
And the sound, the music, like it's like the best MIDI soundtrack of all time. It's crazy. The opera scene, I think I brought it up earlier. The opera scene is just incredible. Like it's just like this is amazing. This sounds so good. I have a physical CD. I bought a physical CD direct from Japan that is Nobuo Uematsu's. He's the composer of Final Fantasy VI and many Final Fantasy games.
I think he did all of them up to 12.
Yeah, I think so. But like it's the entire soundtrack of Final Fantasy VI. All the music composed by him, done by a real deal orchestra. And it is,
is that the Friends of Final Fantasy thing?
No, I think it came out before that.
Okay.
The Friends of Final Fantasy thing was the one that toured later.
Yeah.
And they started doing songs from all the games. I believe. Maybe.
I think so.
But like it's just like I still pop that on and I'm like, the Ghost Train soundtrack, so sad.
I think that's what it is with me with Final Fantasy VII, because like thinking back on it, it's like, spoiler alert, one of your characters dies, like actual dies in the game. Yeah. Can't use her anymore. And like thinking back on it, like I think like that's one of the first times I can think of like a game actually affected me. Like I was legitimately like, no,
no,
no. I think actually in shock when it happened because I was like, because there's like no hint that this is gonna happen. There's no indication. All of a sudden she died. She's like, what? No.
Of course. Now you play it and you're like, wow, you can really get her ultimate weapon like super early on.
No, like I should have seen this coming.
And her like really good like limit break is also really easy to get really early on.
This should have been a sign.
Oh wow, this is great. Oh no, she's dead. Fuck. Fuck. I spent all that time leveling up her abilities. Stupid.
That's one. I think the only thing I hate about her dying is that she is the best magic user in the game, and I used her all the time because of that.
Yeah.
But no, it's like it's one of the first emotional moments that really affected me in a game.
Kills, right? It like gets you right.
It does.
I still play that game. Well, I haven't in a while, but like every time I still like I know it's coming, and I still just go, oh, like that sword went through my heart as well.
And there's so many times like when I'm playing that game and and that scene's that section's coming up and I'm like, I'm literally just do everything else possible I can in this game before
I'm just gonna keep going around and doing some other stuff.
I'm gonna go level up everyone.
Yeah, let's get everyone up to level 50. Thus making the rest of the game stupid easy. But whatever, it's because it'll take me hours.
But yeah, I love the characters. The soundtrack was phenomenal as well. Like I will also sometimes like at work I'll just start playing the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, and just like breeze through my day with that thing. And it's just a phenomenal game. Mm-hmm. And those two games really are probably my two favorite games.
It's great.
They're just so.
And you have like Final Fantasy Tactics, which I found much later.
Oh, that game is so good.
It's so like I still haven't finished it. It's like really long and complicated, but rewarding and fun and. Mm-hmm. Incredible,
and it has a cool thing I like that similar to what XCOM does is that you can have characters that actually die.
Yeah, characters die.
You have to get replacements.
Yeah,
and that game always makes me play so cautious because like, no, I put so much time and effort into you. I don't want you to die.
Oh, you're not even like a named character really. You're just like Johnny Soldier.
That's the best part is they all have names. They're just random generated.
Yeah, they're just random. Like there's story characters. I don't think they can die. I think it's
no, like the main characters, like all the non-random characters can't die, but any of like the random ones can. So you really have to be cautious as to what you do.
Like your super Chocobo soldier, because you have Chocobo soldiers.
Yes,
and they're badass.
So good.
And then they die. You're like, no, shit.
And there's also a Sid in that game.
There's a Sid.
He's a I think he's a Heaven Knight. I think it's his title, or a saint, a sword saint.
You can unlock
but he's like uber powerful.
Right. He's a secret character in that game.
It's funny too because like actually like when you have him in the game, it's actually supposed to. Okay, it's Final Fantasy VII sidetrack. Mm-hmm. You lose Cloud for a while because he basically goes insane.
Yeah.
And you can't. And he gets Mako poisoning, and it's a whole other thing. Anyway, you basically lose the ability to use him for a while.
Yeah.
But what they did is they said because he'll appear in Final Fantasy Tactics, and they said that the time period you don't have Cloud, that's what he's doing is he's in Final Fantasy Tactics.
He got he's like having a fever dream or something like that.
Yeah, like he ends up at one point getting he disappears for a while, and then you find him. But when you find him, you still can't use him for a while. But with that time period that he disappears, that's what he's doing is that he got transported to Final Fantasy Tactics.
So of course, that makes total sense.
Oh yeah, it's a Final Fantasy.
In the Final Fantasy world, of course it does.
But I thought that was a neat tie-in, and actually some kind of even though as convoluted as it is, that they actually tried to explain what happened.
That game series is just phenomenal to bring it home. It's just always been a staple, and like the fact that they called it Final Fantasies because Square at the time SquareSoft it was called.
They'll always be SquareSoft.
SquareSoft to me, baby. The time they thought that would be their last game, like they were going under. So the first
that didn't sell. They were screwed.
Yeah, that was it. This was all they could do was that.
So if you're wondering like why it's Final Fantasy, why are there like 15 games in this series?
That's why, prick. Shut the fuck up.
My dad made that joke all the time, and I'm like, God damn it, Dad.
God damn it, Dad.
Take your dad joke elsewhere.
But dad jokes are great. You leave them.
I love dad jokes. They're so good. My kids are going to kill me if I ever have them because I'm just going to nick nothing but dad jokes at them.
Not if I don't kill your kids first. They're going to be monsters. I have to stop them.
Yep. You'll have to stop them. I'll have already stopped them. But yes, Final Fantasy 15. It looks awesome, and you need to play the demo and tell me about it.
Okay, I will.
But one thing I want to talk about before we get to main piece I wanted to talk about.
Oh, tell me about your main piece.
Well, no, the first thing I want to tell you, there's a remaster coming out for the PS4, Jeff. Do you know what game they're going to remaster for the PS4?
What?
You're going to like it.
Okay.
Parappa the Rappa.
Oh, shit. Kick, punch. It's all in the mind. Honestly, back in the day, I had the demo for that game, and it was so hard, I couldn't figure it out.
Oh no, I never got anywhere in that game.
No, it's crazy to see people go a little farther because I feel like it's a lot easier. Like you can definitely see seeds of like Rock Band and Guitar Hero there.
Jeff, you can download a demo of it now.
Oh shit! You know what's great about having a PlayStation 4, Kenny? Let me tell you because you don't. Is that I can go into is that I'm gonna like after we're done talking here, so because I don't want to start downloading stuff while we're talking, I'm going to be. I just have to go to the website for the PlayStation Store. Now, my PS4 is in sleep mode, Kenny. It's currently in sleep mode, drawing almost no power. And I'm just going to go onto the website on my computer, or I can do it on my phone, and I'm going to log in to my account, and I'm going to select those 2 free demos, and they're just going to automatically download on my PlayStation while it's just chilling, while it's just doing things. And then, I'll open it up later, and they'll be done, installed, ready to go. Happy to see me.
Oh, are you done? I started looking at my phone. I stopped thinking.
It's awesome. I don't know why, but I really find that feature just amazing. Like I come home from work and I'm like, oh, good, this game's done downloading. Let's play. Woo!
I will have a PS4, and I will text you as soon as I get it. I am getting one by next. I guess it's next month, January.
I don't think I have any games you can play together.
Well, we both get Final Fantasy 15, that multiplayer mode.
Apparently has a multiplayer mode. I don't know what that's about. But
I don't care, but how awesome would that be to be able to play that game at the same time?
Well, actually, 6 did have a multiplayer mode.
Yeah, if you plug in a second.
Plug in a second controller, you would control the first 2 characters in your party, and your buddy would control the other 2. So it did have a multiplayer mode. It was possible.
I'm kind of bummed they never brought that back.
I mean, it's a cute idea, but like it was it was real-time strategy. But like not real-time battle system, but Secret of Mana had multiplayer as well. I do recall.
Oh, that's right.
So what if it's more like Secret of Mana, where like the 2 controllers plugged in? There's 3 characters you play as in Secret of Mana, but like you can only control 2 of them.
Yeah.
But like what if it was just like that? Because like Secret of Mana is much more of this in this new vein, where you actually had to physically go up and attack and stuff like that. There wasn't a real-time battle system or an active battle system thing. So might be something like that, where like, but instead of having 2 controllers plugged in, it would just be 2 systems connected. Maybe.
Well, I'm assuming it's going to be something like, you control Noctis, and then someone else controls one of the other characters.
Maybe up to 4 friends can take on the game together at once.
Oh, how awesome would that be? And then you have that one douchebag who won't follow anyone's instructions and just go fuck off and do his own.
Yeah, then you gotta go boot it. Because there's always that thing where like in those games, the only problem with those kind of games where like they have it's an open world, or like you're going somewhere, is that if anybody gets fallen behind, either the whole party can't progress while they wait for that guy to catch up, or like it just warps them to the front of the pack again. Like,
yep.
So that's kind of annoying for me.
Yeah, that I hate that so much. Although with you all traveling in a car, I don't know if that'll necessarily be a problem.
Yeah, come on, get over here, Dick.
Man, I really hope it is like a full world map they brought back. Oh,
it's huge. Yeah. It is huge.
Well, that's the one thing
it would take
I miss the most from all the other games.
If you ran across the map, it would take you all day to run, like all real time in our world day. It would take you several game days to make it.
Yeah.
It's not as big as like Witcher 3 map or something like that. Like as far as
Witcher 3 map was fucking massive.
Well, you know what I mean.
I'm not expecting that.
But it's
I want to be able to get in my vehicle and like drive across the actual world map like they used to be able to. Like that's what I want. Yeah. I miss that so much.
It's not quite like that. I get why like you don't have the top down anymore. You do have the top down, but you have top down. You're convertible. Hey.
No, but I mean, like, I liked where I could like get out of the town and then I hop in my vehicle and I go to the next town.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But along the way, you can stop off and be like, "Oh, what's going on there?" Like I watched someone playing. I watched like a 20-minute video on YouTube. I forget what the name of the group is. They're really good though. Inside PlayStation, I think. Or PlayStation.
How do they get inside the PlayStation?
Oh, I don't know, Kenny. They're crazy magicians. They're British. They can do whatever they want, I suppose. PlayStation Access is what it's called.
So a bunch of Harry Potters.
Yeah, that's what they do. Just Harry Potter it up. It's a good channel for those who would like to see some stuff. They're really good. But they only like this as it goes. They only do PlayStation games.
Well, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Also, a Wii game for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, oh, that's weird. But so I watched like a 20-minute gameplay video they made where they're just talking about stuff and like they're trying to make it spoiler free, but so they're driving along and stuff like that. But there's just one, like all of a sudden like this herd of creatures crosses the road in front of you. And your characters go like, wonder where they're going. Well, we could go and find out. Like, and you could get out of your car and follow them. And,
that's awesome.
And go off and see what's going on. But he's like, I want to do that, but I don't want any spoilers, so I'll have to ignore it. Like, only in British, so much more cool.
Oi, we'll have to ignore that one, eh?
Oi!
Oi, Gov!
Oi, governor! Cheerio!
Hop back in the lorry!
The lorry, that's a truck. They're in a sedan, I believe.
It's all the same.
Yes. Is it a sedan? No. Well, it's like a 2-door is a coupe. It's not a coupe. It's a coupe.
Nope, coupe. Calling it a coupe.
It's a coupe, motherfuckers. Or 2-door.
We don't need these fancy names. 2-door or 4-door.
Yeah, come on now. Jesus Christ. Highfalutin motherfuckers.
You motherfucker. God damn it. No, that game looks so awesome.
Yeah.
And visually, too. I mean, obviously, it's on the PS4. It's pretty advanced at this point. Oh, looks great. I'm also very excited about the summons. Summons look massive.
The summons are huge, and apparently their use is kind of downplayed, but getting them is like really kind of where it's at.
Oh, I'm excited. So hopefully in the near future, we will have a review of Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
Where we either praise it or skewer it.
I mean, in the far, far future, because if we want a full review from beginning to end, it'll take a long time to fucking beat that game. Especially with how much time I have to play video games.
With as much time as I have, it'll probably be the only thing I'm doing outside of work.
Eating,
sleeping. I'll get home from work. I can sleep when I'm dead. Get home from work, play, go to bed, wake up. Go to work, play, go to bed, wake up.
You can eat when you're dead then?
Yep. No, I'll probably go liquid diet, just eat while I'm playing.
It's like, there goes Kenny. He's pissing his pants again.
Who didn't plug my catheter in?
Kenny, why are you buying rubber diapers? Oh.
Oh, that's right. You're doing that again, aren't you? But yes, I do think at some point we should give Stephanie a full review of Final Fantasy VII. Or 15. We could give her a review of Final Fantasy VII, but actually when that remake comes out, maybe.
We could do that.
But yeah, so when we actually do both have beaten the game, we will talk about it at length.
Yes.
But the other thing I wanted to talk about.
Yes. Is this your main piece?
This is my main piece. My main piece.
Oh God.
There was a new trailer for Death Stranding that came out.
That's right. You told me about this briefly.
I did.
And that you told me it's come out.
That kind of reveals more of the story, but I still have no fucking idea what's going on.
That's the thing. So like, just a quick catch up. Like when the Death Stranding trailer last left us, we had Norman Reedus on like an oily beach with a bunch
of dead
fish, and there were whales flying in the sky,
and there was a fetus.
There was a fetus, yeah, and like you don't know what's going on. Why is Norman Reedus naked? What is happening?
Why is he naked? Why am I suddenly naked?
Why are we all suddenly naked and touching ourselves? And
oh God, just wasn't me then.
Whew, oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of definitely a situation where more questions than answers. Yeah. Mostly no answers.
So what did we get from this new trailer, which I haven't seen?
Well, in the new trailer, there is no Norman Reedus.
Okay.
But you are introduced to 2 more characters.
Oh, okay, good.
And the way it opens up is it's a shot of a tunnel, and you see this portly fellow like shuffling up to it, and he turns around, and it's revealed to be Guillermo del Toro, and he's holding this some kind of container of some kind. And he walks up to the tunnel, and then he kind of looks into it, and then he kind of backs off to the side, and he's like standing against the wall next to the tunnel. And he looks at the container, and then he plugs it in, and there's some kind of infant in the container.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on, why, but he's just holding it, and then he looks up, because the tunnel is under this bridge, so he looks up. And then it pans up to the bridge, and you see this tank go by, but it's this tank covered in these like tentacle things, almost like an an infested tank from StarCraft. Like if you, like you know how you have the infested Terrans and the infested vehicles and things like that in StarCraft 2. Like just imagine like an infested siege tank almost kind of goes by, and like these like tentacles are kind of like coming out and like falling off of it, and then there's these soldiers that are walking behind it, but they're just a skull. You know, I don't think it's a full skeleton, but it's just a skull and it's in a uniform.
Okay.
And then the area that he's standing in, like it starts to flood, like to like ankle, like to like shin deep water. And then it goes into the tunnel, and you see 4 of these skeleton soldiers coming down the tunnel, and they're you know, kind of, you know, making sure the area is clear. And then you see this 5th soldier coming up behind them, and he's wearing this normal outfit, but he's wearing or the normal soldier outfit, but he's also got this pack on him that has these 4 tubes that look like they're connected to the soldiers.
All right.
And he lifts up his goggles and his helmet and like goggles just kind of disappear, like they fade out. Yeah. And it's Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay.
And he surveys the area, and then he sends them all forward, and they like detach from the tubes and they go back into his pack.
Interesting.
And he kind of actually, like, his face and his eyes kind of look like the way they did in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
And that's where the trailer ends.
So what you're saying is, we still have no idea what's going on.
More questions than answers.
Yes, very many questions. Very little.
But at least I have, and also at one point when you see the tank going by, you see these jets flying, but they have like this the only way I can describe it is like there's this trail coming off their wings that kind of looks like a black tentacle.
Mm-hmm.
So it does give a little bit more idea of the setting, because it looks like there's like a big city area they're in, and there's some kind of military presence.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is some kind of weird fever dream, or if like there's some kind of weird infection going on, or why they're dead soldiers, or if they're actually dead.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. I don't know why Mads Mikkelsen is in it. I don't know why I know why Guillermo del Toro is in it. I want to know where Norman Reedus falls into this. What's with the babies? I don't understand
what's going on.
But like, I will say though, even though I know nothing about this game, I want to play it desperately just to find out what's going on with this game. Yeah. So they definitely got me on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, visually it looks great, and I will say, from what I do know of it, which is nothing, it looks very unique gameplay, like as a game. Like I can't think of anything I've ever seen that looks remotely like this. So I'm really curious to see what Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima are doing.
What are you guys doing? I think Guillermo's just in it as like a funny little Easter egg. He'll do that sometimes.
Well, no, I think he's actually he's heavily a part of it. I think.
Yeah.
Because I think.
But I mean, like, why he's there.
Oh, I don't know if his character. I don't know if his actual model will have any impact in the game.
Yeah, like I think he's just in the trailer because he's working on it, and because Kojima likes to be cute and funny that way. So. Like he's in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
He's in Metal Gear Solid 5, and he's in the prelude to it, like Ground Zeroes. You have to you rescue him. He's like a intelligence officer that's been like captured. You have to rescue him. It's funny.
I'm wondering though if he'll have more part in it though, because like there seems to be some kind of the infants in that game seem to have some kind of impact, because they've shown them twice now.
I'm like, I don't know what we're looking at as far as like, is this part of his past? Is this like?
Yeah, but I'm wondering like, because he was pretty decently featured in the trailer. Like, he's pretty much he's a big focus of the first half of the trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's playing an actual role in it more than just a cameo in that trailer.
That'd be so weird. Like,
yeah,
maybe they're playing themselves. Like,
maybe. I want to play this because I want to play this because I really, really want to see what the hell's going on.
I want to know what's happening here. Exactly what's going on, please. Thank you.
Like a hint, maybe?
Yeah. Like, I'm interested. You got me. I don't know what's going on, and I'd like to. But
I'd like to have some semblance of an idea.
Yeah, it's just that's kind of where I'm at with you right now, Hideo. Can I call you Hideo? Can I call you Hiddy?
Look here, Jim.
Look here, Koji. And now we got that Koji beef. Sorry, that's Kobe beef. Kobe.
Swish.
Oh God.
But yeah, it looks great. This whatever I've seen, I want to call it the story, even though there's no story revealed.
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck's going on?
I don't know what else to call it though, but like I'll call it the story for now.
I mean, at least with the Metal Gear Solid game, we had an idea what was going on because there's other games to kind of fall back on. But this one,
I will.
What the?
Oops.
Go on.
Well, you go.
No, just this one's just like what is happening here?
I'm gonna say, speculating. This is all speculation, so don't quote me on this. And it's probably pretty obvious, but the infants seem to have some hugely vital importance to the game in terms of, I feel like, at least from what I could see, Guillermo del Toro's character is attempting to save this infant because he seems very the way he's holding it. Seems like he's trying to protect it, and my guess is the soldier characters in the trailer are hunting people down who are hiding the infants or trying to stop people from taking them. Because that's at least the feeling I get from the trailer.
Yeah.
Just the way that the interaction I see with Guillermo del Toro and the canister, and then thinking about that, and then like seeing all the soldiers in the area. So that's the best explanation I can come up with right now as to as to essentially what's unfolding. But beyond that, I have no idea what any of it could mean. Mm-hmm. But it looks fascinating as fuck. Yeah. And when that game comes out, I'm gonna be all over it.
They've definitely got my attention, but I couldn't tell you. Like, I've got nothing to do.
Yep, I've got no clue outside of the little bit I said there. I don't remember. We talked about the Last of Us sequel that's coming out.
Yes, we saw the. It's back.
Very excited. Very excited about that. I'm curious what they're gonna do at this point, because for those of you who don't know, in the first game, spoiler alert, it ends on a very down note.
Well,
as games would expect.
It is. The whole game is kind of a downer.
But it's like an extra mega downer.
Yeah.
But basically, the last game, the whole point of the game is you're trying to find a cure for this infection, and they discover that Ellie's immune, so they're trying to take her to this research facility to see if they can essentially use her to find a cure. And it turns out the only way they can do it is to use her brain.
Yeah, and they have, she will not survive the procedure.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you knew this, listening audience, but your brain is important.
So we'll just leave it there, though, because basically the second one looks like flash forward. Ellie looks like she's 17 now.
Yeah, she's definitely close to a legal adult age.
I don't think she's much older than that. If she is, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if she was.
But like and Joel's back, and I don't know what's going on as far as like how it relates to the last story.
Yeah.
Because all she says in the trailer is that I'm going to kill them all, and like that's it. Trailer's over, and I'm like, who's them? Why? What happened?
Again, more questions than answers.
Yes, so, because apparently, you never mind. Like, I don't want to spoil the game. I know Last of Us came out a long time ago, but I just feel bad about spoiling the ending to someone who hasn't listened to it, played it yet.
Yeah, it's Stephanie. Play the game so we can talk about it.
Stephanie. She has a PS3, doesn't she?
I'm pretty sure. I think she might have a PS4, actually.
Yeah, so she can play Last of Us.
Oh my God, Stephanie, get on that!
I'm so mad at her right now.
Let's just shit talk Stephanie the rest of the episode.
Worthless beef.
No, Stephanie, we love you.
Yeah, you're all right.
I love you. But no, it's a great game. The first one. I haven't played the second one, so I can't tell you about it yet. But no, the first game, it's such a great game, and I will say it's the only game I can think of where I've legitimately almost cried in the first 15 minutes of playing it.
Yeah,
because it has so I'll give you a little spoiler of the intro. It's right before the infection occurs. It's right as it's occurring, and it's the city's getting massive outbreaks.
Yeah,
and you're playing Joel, and you're running through this town. You're trying to get your daughter.
It is right as the infection is breaking.
Yeah, it's basically right as the whole town is being evacuated. So this shit's going down basically, and Joel and his daughter and his brother are trying to escape, and there's a car crash, and you're walking around with your daughter, and you're happened upon by this the soldier who gets orders to shoot you, and he ends up shooting Joel but ends up killing Joel's daughter, And this is like the first 15 minutes of the game, and it just kind of fades to the title where you hear just Joel just weeping over his daughter's corpse. You're like, why?
Yep,
No.
and that's the up note.
That's where it starts. And it's legitimately one of the saddest things I've ever seen in a game.
It was pretty bad.
So, props to Naughty Dog for being able to do that.
Well, it really kind of elevated the art form, so to speak, because we're gonna be all highfalutin. It was a video game, and of course, like at its heart, like gameplay wise, you're beating people up with baseball bats and shooting them and stuff like that, and that's part of the deal. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But you know, like the story of it and like what you go through with that character is very real and raw and like very well portrayed and like on par with movie level. Cinema level stuff. So it was great.
Yeah, and none of it ever really feels convoluted. Like you could easily have made that opening segment, like just you could have really butchered it and made it like I don't know, like super touchy feely and just like not.
Yeah, you could
make it really bad.
You could have over schmolzed it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah. And they did such a good job. They were subtle in all the right places. They were overt in all the right places. And they just did a great job of really making you connect to those characters in this brief 15, 20-minute window that you see them.
Yeah.
And like I said, I felt legitimately bad starting this game because, like, even though I just technically met these characters, I'm already, like, essentially like having this little window into really awful personal tragedy.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, it's bad.
But no, maybe that's what Square saw. They're Squaresoft Media.
Squaresoft.
That's what Square Enix should do is hire Naughty Dog's writing staff for a game.
Yeah, to make him a little more. Or at least have him like do a pass in the script because can you explain to me the plot to Final Fantasy 13 in under 3 minutes?
Right now?
Yes. Or ever, if possible. Do you think it's possible?
Well, it's been a while since I played it, so I'm probably going to miss a couple things, but
because that game like hits you with a lot of stuff early on. You're like, huh? What?
Well, the problem I had with Final Fantasy 13 in terms of their plot is that there were things they were hitting you with, which was fine, but they were hitting you with them in a way that you were expected to already know what the things they were talking about were.
Yeah, of course. It's like, oh, well, that makes total sense, right?
Which is fine because I've read books, I play games where they do that. But they don't do it in a way that it I don't know, like the way that Final Fantasy 13 did it wasn't the right way.
Yeah.
But essentially, from what I can remember of the game, God, it's been a while I played it. Essentially, there's these things called L'Cie. I don't know why they call them that, but basically, they are these like guardian creatures that basically are powering the city that they live in, and every once in a while they'll mark people. And they're called fal'Cie when they get marked. And their goal is to complete an objective, but they're not told what it is, and they're not told how to do it. It's their job to figure out how to do the thing they're supposed to do, and then do the thing they're supposed to do before the mark on their arm turns them into some kind of creature thing. And so each of the characters are marked, and they are attempting to figure out what. Essentially, first they're trying to figure out what their goal is, why they're trying to do what the thing they need to do is. And they start doing what they think they're supposed to do, but it turns out that's not what they're supposed to be doing. And it turns out their ultimate goal is they're supposed to help guide two of the other characters to completing their goal, which is to save the Earth, or Pulse, I think the planet's called. The planet, whatever the planet.
Yeah, I think it's called Pulse.
From this impending, essentially this impending Armageddon of sorts.
Like it wasn't. But my biggest problem.
That's a very, very watered down.
Yeah, and like it's just like it's way more complicated than that. I remember, but like it's just crazy. Like, well, one of the things that that always kind of stood out to me for Final Fantasy 13. I don't mean for it to dominate our conversation, but it seems that it has. Is that like it just? I don't know why they made so many sequels to it because they seem to think that it was like very. Like that it was very in depth, and you can go back to that well, and it was very good and important to do so. But I don't think the fan base did.
Final Fantasy 13 seems to be very polarizing. Like I saw a lot of people that said they really liked it. I saw a lot of people that said they really didn't. So I think it.
They did take out like the exploration aspect in a big bad way with Final Fantasy 13.
That was probably the only part of the game I was really upset
So
about.
you're
Is they
pretty
didn't
much
have.
just always running north. Like there's
Yeah.
only one way to go. There's no left, right. There's no side mission really or anything like that. There's not like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on over there? No, it's just like, nope, keep going, bitch. We've got more stuff to tell you about Lassie and Falsey and Crystal people, all this shit. You're like, no, I what?
No, I thought.
This is important. They kept
I
trying to
didn't think it
say.
was. Yeah, no, I definitely got that. I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing that they produced sequels for the game. I just, I don't know. I feel like they should have. I almost feel like they should have split 13 to two games and then elaborated more on a lot of things. Because I feel like that you could have gotten enough content out of 13 if you elaborated on more things to make two games out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like at the
But
very least, we would have gotten our like Final Fantasy 15 sooner. You know,
yeah,
they took a long
although
time.
we might not have.
Yeah, maybe
Because
not.
yeah, it was originally supposed to be part of the 13 Final Fantasy Versus 13, but then it became its own game, which is probably for the best. Uh, I mean, not to say that really would have changed. I don't know if that really would have changed anything with 15, but I mean, as far as I know, nothing of the plot really changed. I feel like it kind of went
You just got more.
I feel like it kind of went the Resident Evil 4 route, in that Devil May Cry was the original Resident Evil 4, but as they were developing the game, they realized they were going way, way far away from what they wanted Resident Evil 4 to be. So, like, screw it, it's just a new game now.
Yeah, another game.
Which, another great gaming series. Except 2. 2 is garbage. 1 was great, 3 was really good. I will probably be in the minority on this one, but I loved the remake, DMC, Devil May Cry. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Came out where they gave him blonde hair and everyone got pissed off or something like that.
Yeah. Well, they gave him dark hair.
Oh, that's right. He was blonde.
No, he had a white hair. He's always had white hair, and then they gave him dark hair. I don't know why the hate for the character. Like, it's not a remake. It's mostly a reboot of the series. It's just a retelling of the character in a different way. Like, you still have a lot of the same major aspects. Like, you still have his brother Virgil, and he still has a conflict with him. You're still fighting Mundus, who's like the ultimate evil in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of the core, like you still have the sword play, the gun play, you still have the devil trigger, you still have a lot of the core stuff that you would expect in Devil May Cry game. The only difference is your character's a little younger. I don't. I mean, I guess I love the Dante character, but I guess I was never so attached to him that you can't ever change him. I mean, he still had the same attitude pretty much, so he didn't really lose anything personality-wise. He just changed a bit looks-wise.
I wonder if 15 has, because I feel like the best thing about, like, the reason why 6, 7, 10, why those Final Fantasies were so popular, is I feel like one of the reasons why they were so successful is that they had a really great evil, like super evil villain to dislike, and like very complex and interesting stuff like that. Like Final Fantasy VI had Kefka, who was literally just an insane clown, and you don't even know that he's
I'm going to make a monument to nothing.
Yes, he makes a monument to nothingness, to nihilism. He's a nihilist. He
just makes a statue of Nietzsche.
And by the way, in that game, spoilers because it's really old, so who cares? But he wins. Like the second half of that game, Kefka has won, and even at the end of the game, when you beat him, the world is still a worse place because of him. Like things don't get better; things just keep happening. Like it just goes on. It's like it's okay, whatever.
It's like the ending of It's a Wonderful Life, but it's the opposite because the world is a worse place because he existed.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then in 7 we had Sephiroth, was such a good character.
Oh God, I love him.
10 we had Seymour, and everyone hated Seymour. I hate Seymour.
I hate him because of his voice. His fucking voice is just
the voice acting in the game is a little rough at times.
Well, no, just the way he speaks and the inflection and just that
he's so fucking smug.
That's the thing. He gives off this hugely arrogant attitude.
He's so goddamn handsome and smug.
And I just want to punch him in the fucking face.
Half human, half what was it? Waddle?
Guado.
Ah, Seymour. Seymour. Oh, God.
I also like the way the Aeons worked with, especially with Anima.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Because if you haven't played the game, what's wrong with you?
Seymour's mom,
Anima
bro.
is actually Seymour's mom, and I thought that was a really cool touch.
It's just like they have all these great villains, and I haven't heard anything about a 15's villain. Like, I know that you're running from this empire, but like
I like that though, because it's such a mystery, because I mean, as far as I know, no one really knows anything about this game.
Nobody wants to spoil it. They're all being very mum. Anybody who's played it and reviewed it, they're all being very mum about what the game's like story is like. But like that's if it is missing, because I can't remember, like you talking about Mundus from 13, but I can't really remember anything about him. Like, I never got very far in 13 myself, but I watched you play it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Mundus was from Devil May Cry. 13, the villain was Orphan, who is he is essentially the lessee that controls the entirety of Cocoon, I think is the name of the city, the big city on Pulse.
I don't remember anything about him, and he doesn't stand out in my mind. I watched you play most, if not all, of that game, and like I'm just not like he doesn't really stand out as a good villain. I feel like that's an important aspect of a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, well, I think the big problem I had with him as a villain, it's like he was a fine villain. Like I had fun with the fight. I thought his design was pretty cool overall. The problem I have with him, and I'm not like, I don't think you need to constantly see the villain early in the story. I don't think you need reminders of who the villain is. But I think if you're to have a good villain, you need to know stuff about them.
Yeah.
So I think in the case of him, you just didn't hear enough expository dialogue about him. Well, not necessarily expository, but you didn't hear enough about him from other characters to really have some kind of mystique about him built up when you fought him.
It's like, why is he bad? Like, what's his deal? Like, what's going on? Like, it doesn't really. Whereas, like, Kefka, you think is just nuts, and he's just a henchman at the beginning of the game, and through like most of the game. Then it's revealed, like, at a turn, he's the one who's been like manipulating all this stuff from the background anyway, and he's the real threat to the world at large, and always has been, because he's just crazy. He's just absolutely crazy. So then Sephiroth, you think that Shinra's the big bad. And then you show up at Shinra headquarters, and Sephiroth has killed everybody in there.
Well, it's great because you get to see him also, because I mean technically Shinra is still the big bad.
Yeah.
Because like you see these flashbacks just to really getting an aspect of who this character is. Because like one of the Sephiroth's things is he's like the most powerful soldier ever. Like he's unkillable, and you get to fight with him at one point in the game, and he can't be damaged, and he one shots everything you fight.
Yeah, everything.
And and thing is, you can't control him either, which is kind of a bummer. But you find out that like he's essentially the byproduct of this genetic experiment, and he just goes fucking insane
when he finds out himself.
And he tries to become God, basically.
Yeah. He's like, well, if I'm because he is that powerful, and he's basically
exactly.
And you could argue that he is through the from byproduct of genetic manipulation. He's the son of a god. So,
and the best part is like how he's going to become God is he's because there's a thing called life stream, which anytime the planet is damaged, the life stream comes out to heal the planet. So his plan to become God is to damage the planet so much that essentially all of the life stream has to coalesce in one spot, and he's going to be in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So he's basically going to like turn into this god creature and use the planet to travel the cosmos.
Yep.
Like that's fucking insane.
Nope. Makes perfect sense.
But I love it because it's such a standout moment in game.
You don't go to the moon in 7, but you help someone get to the moon. Is that correct?
That's an 8. I think you go to the moon.
But like, isn't in 7 you have to like put a ship back together and someone takes off? No, that is an 8. You're right.
Yeah, in 7 you do have to stop the meteor, which is the thing that Sephiroth's going to use just to ruin the planet. Basically, you have to stop that from crashing into the planet.
In Final Fantasy 4, you go to the moon, also known as Final Fantasy 2 in the US. You go. There's like that's a late game thing. You board a rocket ship and you go to the moon. And you can go back to it too. Like they let you continue going back and forth after the story plot is over.
I think you can do that in 8 as well. I'm not for sure. It's been a while since I played 8.
It's crazy.
But that was the thing with like 8 and 9. Like I love 9. I thought 9 was a great game. But the villain, like the final villain, literally comes out of nowhere. Like you don't. The final boss, like you think it's going to be this guy named. Okay, spoiler alert. You think it's going to be the guy named Kuja, who you do fight. But then as soon as you beat him, this guy named Necron comes out of nowhere and is like, "I'm the real final boss." You're like, "What? Who are you? Why? Why?"
That game seems like it was written by a soap opera writer. Like There's even like Amnesia as a major plot.
That's 8.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Mixing them up again. So 9, 9 was very cute though, but it was also a huge throwback too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because like you got back to the 4-person party system. It had a lot of the medieval elements that the older games
it was more
had.
fantasy driven.
Yeah, it was and I thought it was a really good game up to that point where all of a sudden like here's this random dude you're gonna fight.
Some rando.
Like,
12 is 12 is hard to remember. I didn't get very far, and I didn't really like it.
I actually don't hate the battle system as much. I get what they're trying to do with it. I will say I do prefer the old school time based battle, the tactical.
They've been they have been slowly moving since 12, I guess, and they've been slowly moving away from the old school system, and now they've just like totally.
Although they kind of had that in 13, where you would run into the enemy, but when you got to the battle screen, you had like the normal like 3-person lineup, and you got to pick what they did. But with 12, you're essentially trying to. Oh, sorry, there was a flash outside. I thought there was some stuff going down.
Flash!
Oh, the flash is outside.
Someone flashed you?
I wish. Wait, depends on who we're talking about. I'd be fine with that either way. But there's these 2 kingdoms. They're at war essentially. Well, not essentially, they are at war. And one of them essentially pretty much defeats the other one and is taking over as rulers of this new expanded empire. And the head of this empire, a secondary guy, his name is Vayne. He's the son of the emperor of the other kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
The game is basically you're attempting to stop him because while he does the whole like, no, I'm a peaceful ruler, blah blah blah. He's actually like a manipulative douchebag who's like trying to just control everything because he's that guy.
As it turns out.
So your main game is to stop him from amassing too much power and eventually to just kill him outright. And then you also have to deal with the judges, who are basically his right hand men and women, who are essentially I would say probably the second highest rank outside of Vayne himself in terms of power within this. So it's your band of do-gooders are trying to get faction like rebel factions within the kingdom, and then this third kingdom that isn't a part of the war. You're trying to kind of get help from them to stop Vayne from doing the evil deed he's attempting to do.
Complicated.
Kind of. I'm not exactly describing it the best, but that more or less you're just trying to stop Vayne from amassing too much power and taking over the planet, basically. But it's funny, like thinking about like the way the Final Fantasy games work. It's like it seems like the more realistic to a degree and mundane the enemy is, the less memorable they are. Like with Kefka and Sephiroth, like these are like really outlandish, weird things that they're trying to do, but they work so well in the games that they're in. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, like, and then you have games like 9 and 12, like where the villains are more realistic in terms of their aspirations, like, but they're not as memorable.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's simply a byproduct of just the fantastical nature of people like Kefka and Sephiroth, but they're just so much more memorable.
I think we just like it when true evil is a really it's just like a really attractive quality in a villain. Like you want to be able to root for your guys because they are truly good, and you want to be able to really hate the bad guy because he is really bad. Like that's why World War II is still so popular.
Yeah, because like I mean, if you want to talk about people in history, you can really get behind hating that Hitler guy. Oof.
Yeah, like
that FDR guy, man.
Fuck FDR, crippled motherfucker,
polio having motherfucker.
Oh god, so annoying, right? Am I right, you guys?
Nope,
fucking
just me.
Fucking all wheels right over there.
Think he's better than me because he can roll around?
Yeah, instead of having to walk everywhere. Some kind of a pussy.
It's like I'm some kind of fucking idiot walking around on these 2 good legs.
Yeah, I think he's better than me. Fuck that guy.
And this has been Kenny and Jeff shitting on JFK. JFK.
JFK too. Yeah, fuck JFK, that motherfucker. He's dead too.
Should have gotten a car with a roof. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why the president doesn't roll around in a convertible anymore. He's ruined everything.
He changed the course of history.
Yeah. By getting his head blown off. That's not nice.
He really lost his top there.
Oh!
Blew a stack.
Oh.
Too far? Going too far?
Uh,
Well then. But no, like I think it's not just because the villains. I think it's because the villains are so outlandish, but they're outlandish in a way that works. Like they're a believable crazy for the universes, and I think that's what makes people like Kefka and Sephiroth so memorable and so worthy of the games that they're a part of.
mm-hmm.
So I'm really hoping that the villain for Final Fantasy 15 at least can capture some of that essence, because you're not gonna. I mean, you're never gonna to match what you did with people like Kefka and Sephiroth. You're never gonna catch that again.
No.
You can get close, but you're never gonna hit that peak again.
But
So
I feel like they did a good job with like Seymour. Seymour was like legitimately you hated him.
Yeah, I did not like him at all. I
hated Seymour. He was evil.
First, I thought he was creepy.
Yeah, he was evil and creepy and just like all around. Like you just didn't want him to win, and you wanted everything to beat his ass.
But one of the best parts about 10 is like also like everyone sucks. Like all of the because he's part of this like some kind of technically I guess a clergy of sorts.
Yeah, he's like a priest. He's a summoner, but he's a shitty one because like the whole thing behind a summoner is that they're all like working, knowing that they're going to like sacrifice themselves for the greater good at the end of their journey. They're at the end of their pilgrimage. But Seymour is just he did a couple things. Now he's just dicking around, like because he doesn't want to sacrifice himself.
Because I think he tries and I guess he backs out of it.
Yeah, like he screws off for a bit. You know, he's like, whatever, this sucks.
But yeah, and then there's like at one point when like these monsters break into one of the towns and Seymour like pops in and summons Anima to save the day, and then you find out that was all staged by Seymour because he wanted to impress Yuna.
And you're like, ah!
Because he's that guy.
And you're like, you're on Titus's side. We're like, no, that's his girl. You can't take her.
And it also had great characters like Auron. I fucking love Auron. He's one of my favorite characters ever. He's just such a bad A.
Bad A.
Bad A.
So if you could take
B.A. Auron.
if you take anything from this, kiddos, is that we're excited about this game. And we want it to be more.
Yes. We want it to harken back to the feelings that we got from games like 6, 7, and 10. And there are aspects of games like I did like 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite, but I thought it was a pretty decent game. And I really like 9, except for the final boss made no fucking sense. There are parts of 8 I liked. There's certain functions of the systems that they use I didn't like. Like I hated the draw system. It's like I have to like. Also, I hated the draw system. I hated the fact that you could only have 4 commands at once, and you had to pick which, because attack you always had to have. So there's 3 others you had to pick, but you couldn't. But there was like 8 to choose from. She basically had to limit someone to summoning, limit someone to items, limit someone to magic, and it just made for a really convoluted way to fight people in the game. Because it sucked because like if your item guy went down, you're like, well, fuck, what do I do now?
What happens now?
Yeah, so
I'm just hosed.
I liked what they were going with. I just thought it was executed really poorly. But so there are aspects of 8 and 9 I liked. Parts of 13 I liked. But if this game can really capture that things that like 6, 7, and 10 did, I think it'll be a phenomenal game. So really hopeful, really very hopeful that it's going to be like that. So if you do play the demo, let me know. You can either shoot me a happy face or a sad face text.
Very well. That'll be the end of it.
And I'll put it in the description. The happy face or sad face that Jeff sends me. But overall, from just the list of games I've seen that PlayStation is talking about at this expo, very excited. Really excited. Also doing a new Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, another new one of those.
Which I'm really excited because I liked the last one.
So on next episode we'll have to like further cover what we couldn't cover today because like news is breaking as we speak. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So next time we will try and give a more in-depth review of the totality of the experience, not just as games are coming.
It's just us going, oh, this thing is happening, and this thing,
yeah,
and look at
this thing too. Woo!
Good golly.
So we'll go a little bit more in depth because there might be some because I'm curious if there's going to be any peripheral things we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So, because I can't imagine it's purely games, being the type of company that Sony is. So we will try and give a more in-depth overview on everything talked about. If any peripherals, all the games we talked about, and also you should totally download that Parappa the Rapper demo. And let me know how that is too.
Very well.
But yes, I'm so excited for Final Fantasy 15. So excited for Death Stranding. Can't wait for The Last of Us 2. Can't wait to see how Neo is, because I love Dark Souls, the whole series. So if this is gonna be anything like that, I'm excited. I'm all for it, and I can't wait to play The Last Guardian, because holy crap, that game looks amazing. And I love the universe that Ico, and Shadow of the Colossus have. So if that's anything to do with it, I'm very excited.
Very good.
And I don't know, is there any other thing you want to throw out there, Jeff? Any other thing?
No, I think we've pretty much we've rambled on enough.
we were born a rambling, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, alrighty. On that note, I think we will call it a day. And as always, you have been listening to A Better Podcast with Kenny and Jeff. And as always, please like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and for those of you not in the know, which is the whole audience, to make this easier on you, listening audience, Stephanie, until we can afford the SoundCloud.
Yes.
What we decided to do was that we're going to put up episodes on our SoundCloud page, which we'll link in the description. And we're going to I think every 2 weeks we're going to rotate those out. So it'll be 3 episodes, and then 2 weeks later it'll be 3 new episodes. So you can check them out as you'd like. I might do it sooner than 2 weeks. It's kind of up in the air, but that's what I'm gonna start with, is do it for 2 weeks and then just keep doing that. And then once we get the big SoundCloud, then I'll have all of them listed. So if you want a portable format, if you don't want to have to use the YouTube app on the go,
we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna give
it a shot, and hopefully you like it. And if you like the show, and you think that your friends might too, have them go to the SoundCloud. Well, like I said, there'll be a link in the description for that. But if you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Tell us if you're watching the expo. Tell us what you like, and what you're excited about, and what you think is going to be dumb. And and if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, since we did talk about that quite a bit, let us know what some of your favorite moments are. Villains, just moments in the game, characters, anything. And yes, I hope you enjoyed the show. Tune again next time, where either we will give a more in-depth description of the PlayStation Expo, or we will have another film review of sorts. You'll find out in the next episode.
In the next episode of
A
Better Podcast.
A Better Podcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.